what were the kind of differences you noticed in your own game, having played those few games last year, then spending almost the entire season with the Ice Hogs? Then you get back to Chicago at the end of this season. Was it a little easier? Were you more confident? Was it an easier transition? Like, what were kind of the differences from your first taste of the NHL to your second taste?
Yeah, it was definitely a lot more chill, I'd say. Like for me, coming in and not really being too nervous. Like I remember at the start of last year, just always I felt like I was kind of walking around on eggshells, which I feel like is pretty normal, especially when you got some big names in the locker room like Taser and Kaner and stuff like that. So I feel like this year was a lot easier for me to just make the transition and not really like worry about that stuff, not really worry about the different atmosphere, and like playing in such a large like venue with like a bunch of fans. And I kind of just jumped right in and started playing hockey like there was no difference really.
Something you said earlier struck me when you talked about last season coming into the locker room and there's Jonathan Toews and there's Patrick Kane and that kind of being obviously intimidating. You know, you got two Hall of Famers, two of the best players of their generation. And you said it felt a little different this year. Was that because those guys had been, Toews was out, Kane had been traded? How was the feeling different? Did it feel like more of a level playing field? Or I'm not trying to, because this is something that Kyle Davidson mentioned at the end of the year. He said part of the reason to move on from Kane and Toews is to sort of clear the decks for this new generation of leadership where they don't feel like they have to come in and defer to those guys. And it wasn't necessarily a criticism of either of them, more of it's impossible for a young guy like Alex Vlasic or Lucas Reichel or whoever to come in and see those two guys and really assert themselves. Would you agree with that assessment? Is it when you got guys with that much, all those skins on the wall, it's got to be hard for a young player to come in and assert themselves?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think you got guys that definitely do that, whether it be, some of the guys I used to play with like Jack Hughes, Trevor Zegras. I feel like everybody can kind of see that they came into the league right away with that, confidence and that idea that like they're the man. And I think props to them. That's definitely something that I kind of need to do a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, right away you're playing with Patrick Kane. I mean, you're not gonna feel comfortable being your same self that you would be around somebody that you're playing with here, like one of your best buddies on the team. It's, yeah, like you said, it's just impossible. Like I look up to this guy. I've looked up to him for so long. He's such a good player. So yeah, you're definitely going to defer to him, whether that be off the ice, but on the ice as well. I mean, anytime he's open, I'm going to try and, sling the puck right on his tape because he's probably the best, this is the best case scenario, having the puck on his stick. So, yeah, I mean, to now, like this season, to the games that I played now, like, it felt a lot different in the locker room, just a younger vibe, like a lot of new players as well. So I kind of felt a little bit more comfortable, and just even like being around those guys last year and then like a little bit in the training camp and stuff, it kind of gave me that confidence and like being a lot more comfortable around them.